Sounds good when he's rolling to the
Well, it's the ride chassis with the MT-09 engine in it. Yesterday when they took off from the line, I see Jed's arm was in the air a couple of times. But watch the lights is the cry. Jed tucks himself in tight, as does every other passenger on the grid. Lights, little bit of a creep by a few people. I think Simon's struggling to get that sucker off the line. Looks like we're 3 abreast of the sidecars as we go down to Richie's. I think Brian Lowry and Josh Saunders down the inside are going to take the lead. Nope, Simon says I'll go for the swoop down the outside as passenger Jed hangs on for dear life, and they make their way down into Wilson's for the first of 7 parades around this circuit, and that is Simon Gilbert from Brian Alaria by the look of it. Can't quite pick up the outfit in third. It might well be Bainborough and Rudland, could be McCain or Oldroyd. We'll let them all shake the dust out as they make their way round.
Yeah, out of Palmer's and on towards Agostina's end. That is the number 11 of Gilbert and Fillmore Brady who'll lead the way. It looks like Brian Alaria and Josh Saunders up next, and that of course will mean that they are the first of the Formula 2s. The Formula 1s, which it used to be the Formula 1s were the 1000s and the Formula 2s were the 600s. But I know at club level you can still run 1000 in the Formula 1s, but at British and world level I think they are all 600s. It's just that the Formula 1 is the long wheelbase with the engine behind the driver. Formula 2 is the short wheelbase with the engine tucked underneath the fairing under the chest of the driver. Or rider. I'm not sure if it's driver or rider.
Well, we spoke with Jed about that when we had the opportunity to have a bit of a chat with him at Donington, and he was saying both are applicable. Actually, there's no hard and fast rules as far as that sort of thing goes. It was also interesting to learn that none of them use onboard communications. As far as he's aware, they're not actually disallowed. But I'm genuinely surprised in this day and age of Bluetooth technology that they don't have a bit of an earpiece going on between them. A few taps are really the only way of communicating, and that's forever thus, basically. The pre-injection championship winners in the FSRA Sidecar Championship, the Fairhursts out there. I'm not quite sure, do they list what sort of engine they have got there? No, it just says Imogen behind there. Actually, a look at my other list might give me a bit of a clue.
I'm alright thinking a couple of years ago at the Sidecar Revival we saw them with a ZX9 sidecar.
That might well be it, and that's why I was wondering if that's what they've got on board, though. They haven't listed the chassis or indeed the engine. Go, mate.
Got 3 wide going down the front straight, which is a rare sight in sidecar racing, but it's going to be, I thought that was going to be Hegarty and Napton who are trying to find their way through, but it looked to be Holland and Stevens. So that's Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens, who we didn't say their names of yesterday. So the number 60 of Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens out there and running strong in third position, Keith. Second of the Formula 1s. And of course they were previous front runners in the British Championship going back a few years.
Yeah, they most certainly were. I've got the feeling they might have been champions as well. They've actually only joined us at Brands Hatch so far this year, and again they only came out to play on the Sunday where they picked up a podium both races. So I wonder if we might see a similar result here if they can pick up second in the first race and then give Simon Gilbert a hard time for the win in the next race with a better grid position, because they would have started from the back as they weren't really playing yesterday, were they? So there we go. See them out there.
Number 19 of Peach and Edwards have returned to the pits at the end of lap number 1.
Shane Carroll.
Yeah.
She's very, very consistent, to be fair to Carol Peach. Andy Peach's wife there. Another front runner in the British Sidecar Championship is Andy. And Carol, usually a model of consistency, has finished well in the championship over the years, just through that pure consistency, really, keeping it sunny side up as she goes. You mentioned the Sidecar Revival Festival. Unfortunately, there's no longer a feature for us here at British Motorcycle Racing Club. It's a bit of a shame, unfortunately, but Santan's Air Sultan have had to pull their support, and it's a great shame. But it's a very expensive event to run, and obviously you'll have happy memories of it from the sidecar passenger rides, as will a lot of other people, to be fair, because it gave us the opportunity to have sidecar passenger rides at lunchtime. I don't know if we are planning on having a similar thing at some point any time this year. I haven't actually spoken to Mike about that, but it's as you all know, our schedules are usually pretty tight, so finding the extra half hour or so to run a few sidecar laps could be a difficult thing, as Simon Gilbert comes across the line to complete the second lap. The battle load very much behind Simon. He's got a 3.171 second lap. Wayne Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens, they are the fastest outfit on the circuit, going 7/10 quicker than the leaders, albeit in third place. And I think they've very much got the F2 outfit of Alaria and Saunders very much in their sight. Mark Hegarty, is it Phil Napton on?
I think it might be Jack.
Jack Napton, okay. The trouble with the sidecars, there's a lot of family stuff going on here.
Jack, Paul, Phil,
yeah. Fred, James, Jane, Janet, yeah, they're all out there somewhere. But nonetheless, it's in a solid fourth place, third of the F1s. Lockie and Binzel, second of the F2s there as well. They're followed by McCain and Oldroyd at this stage. There goes Petman and Webb, Fairhurst and Fairhurst. For the pre-injection machine there. Well, of course, the other very much a pre-injection machine there is the Smith Brothers BMW. So it's one of the classic old BMWs. There are 1250S tucked away under the shrouds of that particular machine. And I think that probably runs in something like the Prometheus Cup. Obviously it's eligible for our sidecar rules as long as it's an engine capacity thing at the end of the day. And I'm not quite sure, it's probably a 1000cc boxer engine dating back to the 70s or 80s, I think maybe in the 60s actually, because that's the boxer engine was around, or has been around for a long time. It didn't really get modified until about the 90s in any great way, I don't think. So no doubt there'll be some BMW anoraks texting me and telling me exactly where I'm wrong. And guess what? If you contact the Samaritans, you might actually find somebody there who really cares, because I don't. So what I care about is the fact that our leader is on the front straight and heading back towards us once again. Simon Gilbert completes another successful circulation. Jed Pilmore-Brady tucked in tight behind him.
Yeah, I think we've got a retirement up there at Corrams, sorry Keith. So we've got a retirement up at Corrams. Didn't quite see the number, but they pulled off onto the inside at Corrams, so we'll see who doesn't come across the line. Gilbert and Jed Pilmore-Brady have come across the line, 2.6 seconds up the road, and it looks like Mark Hegarty and Jack Napton haven't come past us, Keith. And of course we know that they had issues yesterday. They didn't see the finish of the first race, didn't make it out for race number 2, and it looks like Mark Hegarty and Jack Napton are going to be a retirement in this third race of 4 for the sidecars this weekend here at Snetterton.
Andy Smith laying very flat on that outfit, and a very classic style, very small little bubble he's got to hide behind, so he's basically lying down and getting himself out of the airflow. Very impressive stuff.
There's one that I saw last weekend, which is a right-hand chair.
Oh yes,
which,
yes.
Obviously you don't see on the modern bikes.
No.
But no, very much a classic sidecar thing. It was ridden by a Swiss pairing. Not quite sure. I came to the conclusion that it was the right chair because they would have
Go around left-hand circuits.
Yeah, left-hand circuits and been on the left-hand side of the road, where the sidecars were more transport rather than race bikes.
I think I have seen one turn up at the Sidecar Festival, but you're right, absolutely not a common thing at all. I think there's also issues with the drive train and stuff like that. Well, having said that, sidecars are typically opposite way around in this country as well. The brakes and the gears are on the odd sizes, which
change gear with the right, is it, and brake with the left.
That's it. Yeah. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. I've ridden a motorbike like that, an Enfield, and
how was it?
Well, it was an Enfield. It was in India, so it wasn't a particularly pleasant experience. He says, being extremely polite. I had no problems with the gearing until you suddenly are faced with an emergency. Then you find yourself standing on the gear lever rather harder than you should. It also had a reverse shift. That wasn't a problem because I was used to that from the racing, but it took quite a bit of concentration, particularly on Indian roads where basically might is right. So as a truck overtakes a bus,
you could probably fit a highway code on a post-it note.
Absolutely.
Well, from what I've seen anyway, I've never been to India.
Not high on the list of places I wish to revisit. I tell you what we have got though, we've got a race for the lead there, mate, because Gilbert and Pilmore-Brady, Jed, came across the line just a tenth of a second ahead of Holland and Stevens, who've somehow managed to find 3 seconds on that lap and have closed the gap right down. They're going to be going down into Palmer's now, so we'll have a look. We could well be a challenge. Last time he came out to play on a Sunday, we saw Ben Holland take a second and a win. I think he wants to go for the double win as he looks down the inside there of our leaders. So they're side by side. A bit of chatter on the radio. We'll pick up what that is in just a moment. As the exit Agostini's out, we have new leaders. Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens have punched their way to the front. So well done to them from the back of the grid. 4 laps into this race, so just the 3 laps remaining. Now, will Simon have an answer? But what it is, these guys, of course, they're not stupid. They know where the championship positions lie. They know each other as well. And he'll know that Ben Holland is in this race, and he'll be thinking, okay, well, he wasn't here yesterday, so he didn't pick up any points yesterday, and I'll settle for my lead in the championship. I'll extend it by 20 points instead of 25. I think that's what it amounts to, really. Lowry and Saunders continue to lead in the F2s, as they do indeed in the championship. Brian Laria. Short Brian's been a previous champion with us in the past as well. 4 wins to his credit so far this year, and that was before yesterday, where he added another 2. Saunders and Coppock are the other big winners this year, but unfortunately we haven't seen them since Brands Hatch. And very consistently on the podium for Brian Alaria and Josh Saunders. Sidecar calendar a little bit depleted this year. They're doing the 8 instead of the 9 rounds that everybody else is doing. But there are a lot of other sidecar commitments around the country. Sorry, 7 instead of the 9 rounds. Yeah, there are a lot of other sidecar commitments. Obviously the big one being the TT, which is a bit of a disaster for all concerned, one way or another. Hopefully they'll get on top of whatever issues was causing the sidecars to be noticeably unstable, I think is probably the polite way to put that. So leaders over the line then, a very comfortable lead of 2.8 seconds, remarkable speed from Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens. That's if they are scoring points. Yeah, I think they are eligible to score points in our championship. There have been runners at the British Championship, but they have already scored points this year, so I can't see what the issue is with them continuing to do so. Waiting on Wayne and Andy Smith to come by with that little BMW. They'll be the next ones along the front straight if they're going to come along on schedule. No, they're not actually.
Yeah, looks like
they should have already gone.
Haven't gone through into the second number 2, unfortunately. Yeah. There's Gary and Mick Fairhurst.
Yeah. So that's the Fairhurst family outfit. The reigning pre-injection champions, the FSRA pre-injection series, after just 3 rounds. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, you did say there was a bit of chatter on the radio, and it could well have been a potential retirement there for Will and Andy Smith on the number 23 outfit. We'll have a look around the circuit to see if there's anything immediately obvious.
Obviously, we lost Carol Peach and Ken Edwards to the pits there. Mark Hegarty and Jack Napton are parked up there on the inside. Petman's still circulating quite happily, so unfortunately it's looking like another DNF for the DNF club as the leaders now make their way down towards Murray's corner and onto the front straight once more.
Yep, this will be to start the final lap for Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens. So they're just making their way past Wes Petman now and onto the final lap around the Snetterton 300 circuit. So 300, of course, 3 miles. Snetterton 200, have a guess how long that is? 2 miles.
Oh, let me think about that one.
Well, what about the Snetterton 100? How long? There is no money, no prize on offer.
Well, we've also got the Snetterton 100 circuit, of course, which we've never actually used. I don't think I've ever seen in use.
The only time I've seen it was when, I think it was it 2019, we ran the Snetterton 200 and they used the 100 for the driver training thing that MSP
that's
run.
Right. Yes, we've only seen it being used for that, yeah. Yeah, maybe we got a special price on it because it was dual use for the circuit for the day.
So it's 6 seconds and the fastest lap of the race for Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens, 2:05.747. Lap records for this one not being troubled, 1:57.5 for Sam and Adam Christie. And in the Formula 2s, it's Pete Fowles and Kevin Walmsley with a 2:03.609. Fastest Formula 2 in this race is a 2:09.436. In fact, no, it's a 2:09.266 for Lockie and Binzel, who are only, they're 4.4 seconds away from Alaria and Saunders. So that's a bit of a gap to bridge for them, isn't it?
I would say, interestingly, both the F2 outfits have just set their fastest lap on the last time round, actually.
Yeah.
They've both gone green there. A few other people going green. In fact, got more greens than yellows, as well as the purple of Holland and Stevens at that 2:05.747. Fairhurst, a couple of seconds away from their best there as well, so maybe some issues for the machine. So we've lost 3 machines so far, unfortunately. And we are waiting for the leaders to make their way around Corums once again.
There they are, right on cue. The number 60 of Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens breaking in towards Murray's now. And then the drag from the left-hander of Murray's onto the centre straight. And then it will be the checkered flag going out to them for the first time this weekend. So victory in the Formula 1 and Formula 2 sidecars for Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens from the back of the grid. And next up will be the number 11 of Simon Gilbert and Jed Pillmore Brady. There goes the triple cylinder number 11 all black machine for them. As you said, that's the ride chassis for Simon Gilbert and Jed Pillmore Brady. First of the Formula 2s again for the third time this weekend is Brian Ilaria and Josh Saunders. So they're having a good weekend so far, ahead of Wayne Lockie on the number 14. So Lockie and Binzel 4.6 seconds away at the checkered flag. 24 McCain and Oldroyd round out the Formula 2 podium. Next up, there's the number 15 of Bainborough and Rudland. So they're across the line, fourth of the Formula 2s. Then we're just waiting on Gary and Mick Fairhurst, the number 9 outfit, and they're heading down the back straight now on their pre-injection machine. 2 minute 20.1 is their fastest lap of the race, which I think is a little bit different to yesterday, because I think they posted 2:15s yesterday, did Gary and Mick Fairhurst, and that was in both races. In fact, it was a 2:14.9 in race 2 yesterday for the Fairhurst brothers. But this time around, there's no points, of course, for fastest laps. It is your finishing position, and they are on course for third in the Formula 1. So that'll be a nice, handy 16 points for them in this third race of 4 for sidecars.
Right, back to 2
wheels then, and something very special happening in the next race. We are going to see what we believe is the debut